Today, I'm honored to talk to Michael Koenka. This guy is amazing. He helps people, companies to influence anyone at any time. You've seen him in the previews. Welcome, Michael, in this broadcast.
Thank you so much, Alex. Really great to be here. Appreciate it. How you doing, man?
I'm great. So please help us entrepreneurs, help us cope with this crisis, this corona crisis, because almost 200,000 companies are going bankrupt in the Netherlands alone. Worldwide, millions of companies are going down. Nobody knows what to do. How can you help us struggle? Help the struggle.
Yeah, listen, I'm facing the same stuff as everyone else. So the most I can do is share my examples. And if they help someone, then great. If not, then you won't get those 4 minutes back. My idea that we were talking about, actually, that resonated, that you reached out to me to talk more about, is sort of the notion of getting stuff done, getting shit done, the GSD. I'm a bit of a little neurotic in terms of trying to find little ways to optimize my productivity and optimize the stuff that I get done on a day-to-day. But to answer your question about COVID, what's the way out of things? I think you'll see that the real entrepreneurs will actually, creep to the surface. And those that jumped into entrepreneurship, I kind of call them wantrepreneurs, the people that are just like, I like the whole entrepreneurship space. I have some coin. I want to go into it. Those will go back into the corporate space, someplace safe and insulated. And so I think talking to the hustlers, the real entrepreneurs, the people that want to get stuff done, we share a common sensibility towards discipline, routine, focus, drive, and persistence. I think the one thing that separates successful entrepreneurs from unsuccessful entrepreneurs is the notion of persistence. The fact that they will keep going at it even when people say you shouldn't do it, even when they're on their last dollars. Tesla was almost bankrupt years ago. Elon because he had a couple dollars just sitting in the bank from a tiny company called PayPal, put billions into it. And now look at them. They're killing the market space. They're launching rockets into space. These partner companies are drilling holes in the earth, sending satellites, all kinds of stuff. But
you make me feel bad right now.
Well, did you have a rocket company you were planning on launching sometime soon?
Actually, yeah. So I want to go to the sun. No, I did.
Well,
but okay, so entrepreneurs are persistent. But also there's a lot of chaos. There are a lot of things that are out of our control, as so they say, because the government
Absolutely.
is having a lot of constrictions on how we can do business. People are scared. So people on the outside are scared to move forward. So we don't have a normal situation right now. So yeah, I'm an entrepreneur, and yeah, I want to be persistent, but how can it be persistent in a different world, in the new normal?
What do you mean by that? Because I think persistence is almost universal. It's you just maintain your target, and despite things that change, like that's the beauty about entrepreneurship, about business, about life. There's nothing certain. The people that think that they have anything certain are the ones that are a little crazy, and not the good crazy, not like the Steve Jobs crazy ones. Like the woo, because everything changes. That's the one certainty.
So what's your experience with entrepreneurs? Because you guide a lot of entrepreneurs. Are they lazy?
Yeah, hundreds.
Are they lazy?
Some are.
Some are.
Some aren't. Some entrepreneurs fell into a great idea and the idea propels itself and they don't share the same kind of drive. Others have to work extremely hard for that break. And others still are somewhere in the middle that, they work just enough to get by. They do the minimum viable dose, if you will, of entrepreneurship. And then hopefully eventually that takes them further. It's a gamut. Entrepreneurs are people too. You see different levels of activity. So I think in the broad sense, regardless, they are still ones that will be willing or capable to take a calculated risk in starting a new venture. And it's these new iterations in our economic system that will help us stay stronger as a whole over time.
So what can entrepreneurs do? Because it's what I meant is being persistent in this totally different playing field, a different arena. And like you said, entrepreneurship is always uncertain, but this is it's a pretty big crisis.
Yeah.
Different than all the other crises. And we see a lot of influence. Also, the future is very uncertain. I see the government issuing a lot of influence on the people. They're moving us towards a new standard. So it's very uncertain also for companies. What's it going to be?
Yeah.
So how do you go forward with all those uncertainties on the outside? Because usually it's, on the onset, I've ownership of my company. I know the playing field, but right now the playing field is very different. How can I go forward? How can I get customers? How can I get money for my business ideas?
That's a lot of questions.
I know, but you're very fast.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you're right. I am speedy. I think on the most part, have you read? There's this book by Nassim Taleb called Anti-Fragile.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard about it. Basically, in that concept, in that book, the concept is about the notion of there needing to be failures in the system. So there will be things falling to the wayside, and the government supports therein actually insulate the ability for things to fail. In a pure homo economicus, rational economic man kind of situation, you'd want these failures to enhance competitive advantage, to enhance people to come up with better, smarter products that sort of weed out. But because the government is starting to get involved, because you're getting sort of protections and insulations and stuff, you may sort of delay the onset of upcoming economic challenges or companies that probably should have failed. There are some people that say, when the government stepped in to bail out ABN AMRO or any one of the handful of banks years ago, only to find decades later they're still losing money and the public is still losing those monies and stuff. Those challenges with where the government invests their money and where they're going to protect different industries. Aerospace was recently, you see the KLM and Air France deal, getting government supports there. You're getting all these different little pockets of insulation that otherwise, had they, just as a thought experiment, had they let them fail, you would have seen incumbents coming in. You would have seen Bunk and N26, for example, internet banks, come in a lot faster, a lot sooner, because the vacuum that big bank would have created would have encouraged more entrepreneurship in the market space. For the aerospace, you might see more smaller companies or different modes of transportation coming in. Hyperloop might have gotten more traction a lot faster, or SpaceX's eventual Earth-to-Earth concept they'll have in a couple of years could be something that'll take us from here in Amsterdam to Shanghai in half an hour and have that kind of mobility. But by protecting these systems, by creating this new normal of there's somewhat of a safety net, it's a double-edged sword. Yes, it protects jobs and livelihoods and prevents the economy from literally collapsing on itself, which is a good thing. But it also hinders, or at least prevents or obscures, the potential for real entrepreneurship and real competitive economics to actually take hold and take place. So to answer your question, I guess there is no real one-size-fits-all solution for this kind of stuff. But when faced with the challenges that COVID is placing on markets and industries all over the world, one has to ask themselves, what is the real thing we're trying to do here? And what's even more important is that behind the lockdown virus medical side of things, there's a huge economic wave right behind it that's posing to be just as bad, if not worse than the stock market crashes of the 1930s. So like, what do you deal with first? Do you deal with the impact that a virus has caused on people and the health and well-being and welfare of the people, and then deal with the macro and microeconomic consequences? Do you do them both at the same time? What are the timings like? The money flows and economic systems take years to actually respond. So how do you time that effectively? What industries do you save? This is the reason why I am not in politics.
You did study politics, so...
I did study politics. I did study international relations, and all my friends are in politics. So obviously my feed is full of this stuff, but
yeah,
as an entrepreneur, how do you find the right way through and the right niche through? Borrowing from Taleb's assumptions within the book Anti-Fragile, you don't need to understand where it came from or where it's going, but rather how to seize the opportunity at the moment.
That's what I'm talking about. How
And I
can you
think it's
how
that.
can you do that? Do you have any ideas how you can spot opportunities? How do you think out of the box?
Looking for key signals on what people are doing, what people are talking about, and not just what other businesses like yours are doing, because then you end up becoming the same as everyone else. Trying to take a moment and actually listen to what people are saying and empathize with what they're trying to accomplish. That is the key here. I'll give you an example. When the Netherlands went in lockdown on the 15th or 16th of March, within about, first off, that took me by surprise. It was literally, they're like,
Really?
6 o'clock today, everyone's in lockdown, staying home. And I'm like, oh shit, okay, what do I do now? Within 48 hours, I had created a little mini sound and video studio in my office over here, my home office. This is my ferns. So I'm technically, look at this, I'm like between two ferns.
Yeah, I like the show. Yeah.
But no, like within 48 hours, I basically created a video that said, hey guys, listen, you know what? This shit is scary. I'm with you on it. We're going to get through this together. If you need any help, you can reach out to me anytime. I'll help you. There's never been a better time to improve how you close deals, grow your business, and expand your business opportunities using proven sales strategies and negotiation techniques that I love training people on. But most importantly, I'm here for you. And it's that very key element in the thing of empathizing, and just, for me, it's about the relationships. It's at its core, it's about connecting with people. And great business is about healthy relationships. And once you understand that, you can just be a normal human being, tell the world and tell your audiences and tell the people in the target markets that you want to attach, whatever, we're in this together, and I'm here to help you. And as long as you have that, how do you identify key opportunities? Or how did I identify that as a key opportunity? My business is all about connecting and building relationships. It's about helping people grow further. And once I understood what I'm all about, then I'm able to start seeing little moments where there might be doubts in people's minds that I don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. So to have someone come on and say, like me, say, I got you. Don't worry about this. We got you covered. It's reassuring. The MD of Sony reached out to me 2 weeks afterwards. He's a friend of mine. He's like, if it wasn't for your video, I would have lost my shit. He's like, to actually hear someone who wasn't going online to say, buy my stuff, buy this, buy that. Oh my God, I don't know what's happening. Sell, sell, sell. Instead of, hey, I'm with you. Let's solve some real problems. That's how you seize, that's how you identify, that's how you seize and activate and act on opportunities.
So
be human.
Yeah, it's a difficult thing that you're asking from companies.
You have to listen. You have to really, really, really listen well to what people are really talking about. Not what you think they want, but what matters to them.
And what are good ways to go about that? To really go deep onto what people are talking about. You know, you see the superficial stuff, but how do you really get inside the mind of your customers?
Pick up the phone or have a video conference. How you really get, it's a bit rainy here, so I'm just going to move my camera. Da, 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 da. Oh, there goes the framing. Oh my God. How you get into the minds, you pick up the phone, you have a conversation. You honestly, there's a reason why part of the whole research field involves customer interviews, because in order to understand what people really want, you have to actually ask them. There's no other way around it. So in order to really figure out, hey, my client needs more attention in this space, or people are looking for more attention in that space, you really have to take a moment and say to yourself, let's just take 15 minutes to learn more about what matters to people.
Maybe this ties in a little bit with your, getting shit done. Just do it. Yeah,
you really just have, it's even for someone, I love calling people up. I love talking to people. But even for me, some days I don't want to. I do it anyways, but I don't want to all the time, but you have to. If you really want to push your company forward, you have to almost intimately know what really makes your customers tick, what makes your key stakeholders tick. And then once you do, then finding an answer is almost as easy as listening to them giving you the answer. It's stupid and at how simple it is, but it's the one that's worked for me. It's just I call up all the people I care about, all the people that I want to care about, and all the people that I'm currently caring for, and I ask them what their core challenges are, and I just listen. And then from there, it's really about thinking of ways to help them do things better, to get more shit done.
Reaching out to people instead of acting scared and being afraid and just freezing. Just reaching out to other people. So
that's part of the reason why I had that podcast too. You know, it's also a matter of just having a conversation with the internet and seeing what comes back.
Yeah, dus the podcast for all the people who want to listen to it is Son of a Pitch with a P.
Son of a Pitch with a P.
I listened to it. I heard your
Michael
radio voice. I said, this guy has to have been doing radio somewhere else. And you do, I believe.
Yeah, college.
Yeah. I heard that cool radio voice, the dark.
Stop it.
Yeah. Got me all excited. So, but
I could tell.
Yeah, you could tell. So, but it's also podcast. It's also about reaching out. So you're giving value. It's all about storytelling. You know the why. Also, can you hear me? Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
But also in this day and age, you said going to weed out all the companies that don't have any. That should have gone bankrupt anyway. So it's all about. I think it's all about the why right now. Why are you in business?
Me?
Well, not you. Of course, I know why you are in business, but people, why are you, the big why? Why are you in business? What are you actually doing and connecting to people?
I think so. I think it's broader than just the why, though, to be honest with you. I think the why can only take you so far. Once you really grasp what, I think the real answer to that question is about more of a service-oriented mentality. I think once you understand, let me give you an anecdote. So when I was younger, I was like 17 or whatever, I worked at a cafe called Java U. It's the first coffee that opened up in a university. So they're all about like university stuff and U and whatever. It was a weird ass name. Anyways, so I worked at Java U. And my job was basically, I managed a couple of stores there. And one of the stores in Monkland, my job was to keep a billion different things going in my head at once. But all the while, it was about making sure you understood what the customer needed. So for example, if someone came in before that had an allergy, I knew not to give them like the peanut butter brittle or something like that. You know what I mean? Or if someone came in and they had certain proclivities, you had to remember and build that relationship. And it got to a point where like, when I worked the morning shifts, I'm not a big morning fan, but when I got the morning shifts, I would know who came in and what coffee they wanted, such that before they even had a chance to order it, I'd have it ready for them. Almost that predictive kind of sense. And you need to be that attentive. You need to think like a personal butler, if you will, always providing your clients with the best possible service and needs that they don't even think they know. But just by listening and paying attention to their behaviors, you can use to predict and know how to serve them best.
Just like Google right now, they're predicting. I heard they're working on a big machine to help predict the future, and they look at what people type into the search engine.
Yeah.
So they're doing it.
Cool.
Yeah, that's the big AI that's coming.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of crazy stuff in AI, deep fakes and all kinds of like GPT-3 that OpenAI has just launched is easily a game changer in terms of the AI technology, but that's a different chat.
Oh, I like it. Yeah. So, are there any big other big challenges that are coming our way? Because also, you know, we have the 5G. The connectivity is going to be completely different. Are there any? Yeah. Do companies have to anticipate on this 5G, and how can they?
I'll be honest with you. I'm not sure I know enough about what people are talking about in the 5G space. Ultimately, the faster the internet speeds, the better for everyone, I think. The less latency, at least for gamers, I know that much.
Now, you know what happened in Wuhan when the virus broke. They built a hospital in I think one day, and they also had AI on the freeways for the cars so they could drive by themselves, and also doctors could operate through cameras.
Wow.
Yeah, that's I thought, wow, that's a great innovation.
So with better connectivity, lower latency, you get that kind of capability. In fact, I would imagine with complete global high-speed internet that Starlink is putting together, for instance, regardless of 5G, just higher speed access to internet and technology, I would imagine there would be a corroborating increase in human potential. The more connected we are, the better off we all are, I believe.
Yeah, and Elon Musk said with his Neuralink, it will take about 3 years, and then we don't even have to talk anymore because we can read each other's minds. And that's a true story. He said that.
You know?
Only 3 years.
We're already connected from the simulation anyway. So.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. There's a simulation in the simulation.
Exactly.
You don't have to scare the people. No, it's all real. Everything around you is real.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, if anyone's seen The Matrix and not lost their shit about how real that could be, then I want the name of your dealer.
Well, I'm surprised because also mainstream is saying this is, we find a computer code in nature, and this universe is like a hologram, and it's all projection. So yeah, if you want to get deep into it, maybe we're already in a computer game.
Look, man, I have no way of knowing that this is actually happening. That basically this is all happening in front of me. And I have no way of knowing that you're actually receiving the same sort of thing as I am. And if there's a whole, in philosophy, it's called the zombie mind philosophy, where, you know, when I stub my toe on the chair, I feel pain. But when you stub your toe, you might feel the sound of a trumpet. Who knows?
And call it pain. Yeah.
Right?
That's true.
So, and you might just go, ow, because the sound of a trumpet makes you go, ow. You know, or whatever it is. So I have no way of knowing per se what exactly you're experiencing. So because of that disconnect, which eventually OpenAI stuff and Elon's stuff, Neuralink, will overcome, I think the closer you get to what we're thinking about, the easier it'll be for people to communicate. In fact, you won't even have to, like he says. I think there's plenty of pros and cons of that kind of situation.
A lot of cons. Please think about it, people, before you get an implant.
Seriously, I would definitely not get very many job interviews if that was the case. Like, hi, it's a pleasure to meet you. Oh my God, his breath stinks. You know,
I saw a post of Facebook is also working with AI and saying, because then you can just think the post, but don't worry, we're only reading the part that you want us to read. Like, okay,
right.
I trust you, Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook is one of the most trusted organizations in the world.
Yeah, they would never harm us, so that's
God.
not afraid of it.
So not a fan.
So, but you said, but you are a master persuader, so you know a couple of things of how to persuade other people, and for that to occur, you need to know how they are thinking already. So there is a basis that you know, right?
You need to know how people think.
Yeah.
And then from there, figure out what you need to say to really get them over the line, or to start thinking about what you want them to think about. So I guess there are certain relatively predictable ways that people think, and you can leverage that in order to just tilt the scales a little bit in your favor. People always have freedom of choice. Even like you say one word wrong, or you do one thing that's just slightly off, guards go up, walls go up, and people will be like, forget that, this dude's just trying to mess with me. But if you do everything right, if you pay attention to the signals, if you watch what your target is really talking about, what they really need, then you're in the best place you possibly can be.
But okay, so you need to then I know. Okay, this is exactly what my target audience wants.
Just listen. Like, it really is. Like, there's even some great sales techniques involve just the act of strategic silence and mirroring in order to get the right answer. Then it's just reflecting what the client says and providing them that exact service. It's literally giving people what they want. Nothing revolutionary, but yeah.
It's very revolutionary. How can I package this so that people will see the higher value? Because maybe people know what they want, but they won't think highly of it.
I mean, what a lot of my clients end up doing, so I work a lot with some pretty big accelerators and some big name corporates, and oftentimes they just come up to me because it's a matter of them, especially in these times, there's never been a more important time for people to secure budget, to lock down key stakeholders, to get buy-in. Lots of organizations are shifting. So in the shift towards either new systems and operations or digital transformation, they come to me to ask me to help them with that transition, which is really, really tricky, because you can't just jump in as a an amazing chief data officer, chief technology officer, put in a new system and say, there you go, enjoy. There's got to be a process that gets built in that gets people aligned, not just with the leadership, but with the ideas. And the best thing to do is to really just have a moment and actually engage with the audience. So these clients, they come to me and they ask me to bring them the ability to move people in a more human and more realistic and more relatable kind of way. And that's the kind of work. In terms of packaging it, it's nothing more than just giving people the peace of mind that they can get the buy-in that they want from the key people they need, and to get the budgets they need in order to really make the changes necessary before the next economic downturn, or before the next crazy COVID wave, or who knows what, that's around the corner,
That's a great point. Yeah, you look, it's amazing how you look. Great camera.
No, I just said I have 5%.
So what's the big trick to moving large groups of people into new systems? Because a lot of companies have to deal with this. And what usually happens is, okay, we have something new. We're going to do this. Everybody happy? Let's go.
Biggest trick? It's not really a trick. It's more like one of the very many techniques is an old consulting technique of telling people what you're going to do, telling people while you're doing it, and reminding them what you've done after you've done it. It's nothing more than just I think it's basically, the trick is operational transparency. That is the real trick. And the example I can give you is one that I got from a Harvard Business Review podcast on the same topic, whereas you have two restaurants. You order food, the exact same food from both of them. One of them has a closed kitchen. You don't see anything in there. The waiter comes out with a dish, puts it on your table, you're done. The other one is an open concept kitchen. You're probably sitting right in front of it, almost like a chef's table. The one with the chef's table kind of feel provides and gives you the feeling of incredibly higher value than anything else. Why is that? Well, because you're actually seeing the process take place. And you see this kind of process of increased operational transparency in some of the most simplistic kind of industries, like pizzas. Beforehand, I would call up Domino's, and then 30 minutes later, I'd have my pizza. Now I call them up, they send me an email, they send me a message, oh, your courier's on your way. I can tell when when Jason is on the bicycle and what street he's on, and time when it takes for me to get downstairs to go meet Jason at the pickup point or whatever. That level of operational transparency increases trust and the perception of value within organizations. And you can do that through increasing systems or increasing communications, or both. Fortunately, a lot of the companies I deal with have a lot of digital transformation projects that need not just the systems change, but the communications change that go in tandem to really help them succeed, so that the people don't lose their shit in the meantime.
Okay, so
it's a tricky dance.
Yeah, so how do you do this with less tangible products? With a pizza, you can say it's coming our way, but what if you're a digital platform?
Well, it's about improving understanding the touch points that your customers are on. So it could be improving your Instagram, maybe doing more videos, maybe doing more instructional videos, maybe providing them with better walkthroughs, or letting them get more comfortable with your founding philosophy, or even the system itself. Any way to increase the human-to-human contact, even if you're not physically there, is a way to get people to feel like they trust your systems even more.
So more behind the scenes. Yeah, it's also what you said about the open kitchen. You can do the same thing with other services. So are there any companies that you see doing this really great at the moment that you're like, I want to be just like them? Or I'm going to model them. Thinking
I
about
can't
it.
think of any on the top of my mind. I think. No, I mean it's the standard. I mean it's become almost an industry standard when you order stuff online. So it's
That's true. Yeah.
be silly. I think actually Coolblue. I gotta say Coolblue. Hats off to those guys. I don't know what they do, but for some reason they do it really well. Like I can order something in the morning, get something in the afternoon, and be able to follow that package and follow that whole thing the entire way through. It's brilliant, and they follow through afterwards. Like it's really all you gotta do is just give them really good service and just pay attention and treat people like people.
It's coming back all the time. Just be human.
Yeah.
Because I thought we were going towards an age with more computers, everything is online, but right now we're going back to the human connection.
No, but you can do digital. There's a whole reason why they call it the Turing test. You can, if you understand how people really behave, you can even automate interactions so that it feels natural. I mean, people will always be somewhat skeptical, but there are ways that you can do it so that you can automate humanness. But you have to do that. You can only do that if you listen and empathize with what your core audiences are all about and what they need. Can't do it otherwise.
With the chatbots. With the human
right?
connection.
Even that. Oh my God.
The chatbots with the deep fakes. How's that going to be? You're just talking to somebody and it's going to be an AI robot?
I mean,
yeah.
Seriously, like technically all I need is like 4 to 6 seconds of your voice and a couple of transcripts of the stuff that you've posted before, which are already online. And with deep fake, I can make it sound like you and look like you. If you look at the Joe Rogan podcast, deep fakes basically parsed the whole catalog of Joe Rogan's conversations, and he did a whole GPT-2 level transliteration of like what he's talking about. Like it's messed up.
Okay, yeah, I heard one about him talking about the monkeys.
Monkeys and the kettlebells. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. But it wasn't his voice, but it sounded like him. And there was also Jordan Peterson. I thought where did those muscles come from? No, but also Jordan Peterson. there was those websites, and you could just type it in, and he would say it. So it was really really innovative. So I'm going to, and you can also make pictures right now of people who don't exist also. So
yeah, they all exist. There's a website that just generates them for you.
Yeah.
Royalty-free photos of people.
So all of my testimonials.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. No, but those.
Yeah, that's it. Those are my thoughts on sort of getting shit done and what COVID will. I mean, behind COVID, there's a potential economic collapse, and behind that, there's the recovery process. So we're seeing waves upon waves of like more what the fuckery. So there's plenty of like really nasty shit that we have to deal with coming down the road. So I think persistence and discipline and self-care are going to be even more important than anything else.
I hear humanization is going to be even more important. Also listen to yourself. Also very important. Keep getting shit done, and don't get into a freezing mode.
Oh my God, tell me about it. And hey, you know what? It's okay too, because like you're allowed days off. You're allowed messing up. You're allowed mistakes. It's just like, come on, we're human. Like people become way too hard on themselves. Yeah, it's okay to be hard on yourself, but not too hard.
There's a Gary V hustling mindset. Hustle 24/7. Work hard. Look awful.
Yeah, but even look at Gary V. He's switching more towards like be happy, be human, be healthy.
Oh, really? Okay.
And he's right. That's the one thing that he's right on. Everything else is like he's like a little chihuahua. He's like really, oh my God, I'm hustling. And then suddenly at some point he realized he was telling the youth to hustle and to give things up, and it's causing like people to lose their shit. So he switched into like, being happy and healthy, which I think he should have been in the first place. Use that kind of reach to tell people to actually connect with themselves and connect with others.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what are you doing?
I don't know. So it's going to be more human place with all the AI. So that's good news. Hey, Michael, thank you for this conversation. Just a reminder for people: get shit done and be soft, be kind to yourself, and help each other. That's the human spirit, actually.
Yep. If you guys want to find me on the internet, it's linktree/MDK. That's where all my links are. So you'll be, Alex will probably share that kind of stuff.
I'll
but
show
it's
everything.
brought it all together.
So if you want to hire you to get a ton of money for investors, you can also go to you, right?
They could just say hi.
They could just
I'm
say
okay
hi.
with just
Just
saying
connect. Hi. Just make an appointment.
Yeah.
Connect with Michael.
Yeah.
Listen to the podcast. Listen to the YouTube videos. There's enough available. So thanks, Michael, and talk soon.
Thanks, Alex. Take care, man. Bye now.